World famous Q.U.B.E got the beard trim for PAX. Excellent. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do because last time you and I did some nice videos after the fact talking about everything. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Game Tangent, a community for super obsessed gaming nerds just like myself. My name is Chris Enriquez, aka Hyper Neon, and with me today, very special guest, the Maker Miles, Mr. Midnight Tangent Ryan himself, Ryan Michaels. How's it going, my friend?
Hey.
So today, you guys, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different stream. We're actually going to be doing our PAX East 2018 show recap. And so, before you kind of all get started trying to spam your sound effects and emotes and just kind of all that stuff, I have disabled all of that for the time being. So right now, none of the follower notifications or just the hosts and the audio effects and like none of that stuff is gonna play right now. And that's just because we're going to be trying to film kind of like a live Game Tangent episode where we'll go back. We're going to be cutting into some live B-roll footage of the stuff that we've seen, and then we're going to try and we're going to an extent we'll kind of like ignore chat while we're talking about a game, and then kind of like at the end of our conversation we'll talk about it. We'll talk about chat. We'll see if you guys have any questions, and we'll kind of like address those at that time. And so what we're going to be doing is kind of like, I think, talking about a game, and we're kind of going to go day by day. We're going to talk about a game, and then we'll just kind of we'll break kind of in between each segment it just makes it easier to kind of edit and stuff later if I want to do that. And and then we'll just kind of like go back into it after each game. That sound good to you, Mr. Ryan?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. And so I guess before we get started, I just want to say hey to Mr. Negabasta, hey to Mr. Gagan Gouda. I see you guys in the stream. I am looking forward to seeing, Mr. Gagan Gouda, I'm looking forward to hopefully catching up with you tomorrow in the office. Will be my first day back. Yo, Gamer Dad, what's going on, my friend? So that's Gamer Dad is Matt, Ryan, that we met at the Team MZ meetup.
Oh, what's up, Matt?
Yeah. So we got that's pretty cool that we got you here. So I was just explaining, Gamer Dad. We're gonna be kind of going through day by day, kind of talking about all the games that we saw, showing some footage, and then basically we're gonna be kind of ignoring chat while we talk about kind of like each game, and then at the end we'll kind of bring in the chat bubble. It should hopefully just work if I do that. Maybe I'll move that to a different place so it doesn't just cover Ryan's face. So why don't I put that like over here or something? I can even make it a little bigger because why not? We can kind of do that like that. But all of your commands and all that kind of stuff, if you guys want to screw around, those are all still going to work. They're just not going to show up in the video. Cool? Alrighty. And of course, my phone decides to start blowing up while we're trying to get started doing this. So without further ado, why don't we? I guess we can do maybe a quick, just kind of overall. We can talk about kind of the things that we saw, and then we can kind of go into each game. Talk about like what we did. Maybe talk about like kind of like day by day, kind of like what our agenda was and like what days we were there, and that kind of thing. I don't know. And I'll play some like random like B-roll footage of us like walking around in the lines and shit while we talk about that. I don't know. So this was your first PAX, Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
What did you think about that?
It's my first convention I've ever been to.
Right.
So I didn't even know what to expect really. I've seen B-roll footage of people there and stuff like that before. So
Right.
it was pretty awesome seeing all those different booths, all those different games there in one spot. And then I saw that like half the entire convention center was full of just tables with people and tabletop games and card games. It was insane
Right.
how many how much stuff there was to do there. So
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome. I had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. This was, so this was my second year at PAX, my third convention. Well, actually, now my fourth convention because I did PAX last year. I did E3 last year. I did Insomnia the week before PAX, which is like PAX light super mini. Um, and then this was now PAX East again. So my fourth convention. Um, and they extended it to 4 days this year, which is pretty cool. But I don't know about you, but I felt like 4 days was just like a little bit too much.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I was happy to go home. Although I did appreciate that the Thursday that we were there, and I was only there for probably half the day.
Right.
I feel like we got a lot of stuff done on Thursday just because there wasn't as big of a crowd.
Right. Yeah, no. I mean, what you're seeing here, I think, is just kind of like us walking in on the first day. You can see, like, we were right up in, like, the line is divided into three sections. You have, like, the inside section where you're literally lining up on the show floor. You have a hallway line, which is in the queue line outside. Or, like, in the hallways, like, kind of on the main floor, but not in the expo. And then you have a third line, which is just literally outside the building. And obviously, we were lined up on the first day inside the hall. Which is we got there late. Even I don't even think we got there that early. And then to be like lined up inside the hall means like there weren't that many people there, and we got to see just kind of like a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to just kind of I guess play through some random footage here. Was there anything? I don't know. Was there anything, I guess, before we started, like what we did see, was there anything that you regret, like not being able to do, or do you feel like you kind of got everything done in the time that we were there?
No, I felt good about it. I'm the kind of person who I need to kind of experience something first completely because
Yeah.
I can't plan it out and know what to do. So like maybe looking back at it, I can have a better plan of trying to schedule things a little bit more. I know we
Right.
didn't hit any panels or anything like that,
Right.
but there's just so much there that sometimes you kind of get caught up in just being in the area
Right.
and just seeing all these people around everywhere, all the games around everywhere. So nothing that I really regret, but I look forward to next year actually having maybe a little bit more of a plan to go hit more things just because I didn't really know what to expect to begin with. So,
Right.
but there's so much there in 4 days.
Yeah.
Um, it's you could spend your time doing a ton of different things.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think next year I'm probably gonna do 3 days. I don't think I'll do the full four. I think I'm gonna do Thursday. Like so, what you're seeing here is footage from Saturday, or sorry, this is footage from yeah, I believe Saturday or Sunday, where it's just just absolutely packed. Um, and I think if you only did 3 days on those days that are super full, you really won't get to see enough stuff. But doing 4 days and including a Thursday, like doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think you'll get played because we got so much stuff done Thursday, which you're gonna see here as we kind of talk through all the games. We have like 7 games, I think, that we wanted to talk about for Thursday. We're not even gonna talk about all of them, and like each of the other, I think on like our Saturday, we only got through like 2 games. I think because well, one we didn't get there Saturday. We partied all night Tuesday night. That was a Team MZ meetup. We partied, and so we didn't go home until like 2:30 a.m. And then and so we didn't get to the convention. I don't even think we got in there until like 11:30 ish on Saturday. And so we didn't actually end up seeing very much on Saturday. But yeah, overall it was a great convention. I had a really good time. I saw some old games that I already kind of knew about. Kind of got like a second look at them, which was cool. And I got to see some totally new games, and even one that's like pretty far out in the future that I'm excited to talk about because it's like a 2019 game, but I think it has like a lot of promise. So, I don't know. Anything else on kind of like the convention stuff in general?
No, it was just cool. It was just one of those things where I don't get to hang around people who love games as much
Yeah.
as a lot of those people do.
Yeah.
And it was just a really surreal atmosphere where you could kind of fall into that nerdness that you
Right.
know you want to be, and no
Yeah.
one really judges you at all.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was really cool.
And I mean, you
So
got cosplayers there, and just like the developers are there, and other super obsessed. You got all different types of gamers. You got kids. I mean, it's just a crazy, awesome atmosphere.
yeah,
And then, of course, just for us personally, where it was like for like friends just hanging out, like even outside the convention, just being in the hotel and going out having a few beers, playing some board games, playing some card games. Like that was just it just makes the entire experience even better.
yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, so I think that's it on the just kind of like convention in general. Um, so let's see. We can take a look at chat real quick before we jump in. We got some 1v1s happening, some conquests. Um, Goggin says nerds. Says queue in the playlist. Yeah, I'm not queuing the playlist because I'm just literally just picking videos from like my gallery of photos and stuff. And we're gonna be kind of like live pulling up YouTube videos and all kinds of stuff. So that's why I'm just kind of like showing desktop. It's a little bit easier. Gamer Dad said he loved all the cosplay there as well. I loved your light up shoes, Gamer Dad. I gotta say, that made it super easy to find you the night of the Team MZ meetup. Negabasa says, Chris, you know I'm in Virginia, right? No, Negabasa, I did not know that you're in Virginia. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow maybe as well. So that's cool. This is a freaking cool tee. This t-shirt, we're going to talk about that in a hot second here. Gamer Dad is ordering a new pair of shoes. All right. Where are you going in Virginia? Oh, I live in Virginia. That's where I'm at, bro. Okay. So let's turn off chat box. Bye, chat. Gamer Dad, so do I. All right, we can catch up on that later. Then we can. That's pretty cool. I did not know this. We'll have to talk later about that. Okay. And this is where we'll edit in, right? You edit in the whoosh for game tangent. All right, so the first game that I wanted to talk about that I know you didn't see, Ryan, is Depths of Sanity by Bomb Shelter Games. And I'm going to really quickly, pull up this YouTube video here, and I'm going to slap it over here. And we'll just go to display capture and play that. Sorry from the beginning. So what this was like a Metroidvania. It was pretty interesting. It's in kind of early alpha stages, and it's a Metroidvania, but you're underwater. I mean, and when I say Metroidvania, it's not even Metroidvania. It's just Metroid. Like it feels like Metroid. Excuse me, right down to the point where when you open up doors, you have to like shoot the door and the door opens, and it has like just this very specific like Metroid. If you see the door on this image right here at the right hand side there, and that door that he just came through kind of at the left that's like closing off, it feels so much like Metroid. The difference is that you're underwater, you're in a submarine, and it has these very floaty but like very good feeling underwater controls. It kind of pilots exactly as you would expect kind of an underwater submarine, where like you have this inertia that kind of keeps you moving as you're turning around. So that kind of made the gameplay pretty interesting. You switch between all different weapons as you're playing. You kind of unlock weapons and stuff that kind of allow you to take on harder and harder enemies, or allow you to kind of access different areas of the world. So in that sense, it's like a very Metroidvania game. You're kind of slowly unlocking the map as you go, and you'll unlock areas that you can't get into yet. So like that was pretty cool. The one thing I didn't like about it is the enemies just all felt like a little bit too hard to kill. considering how floaty the controls are. Right? Like you're in a submarine, you have inertia, and that's great. But the enemies always felt like they were perfect, right? And like so they would just instantly kill you, or not instantly kill you. Like you have a lot of health actually, but they just always felt way more kind of epic than maybe like each encounter felt a little bit longer and kind of more grueling than like it needed to be. But yeah, overall, I think it was like really cool. I'm trying to think. Oh, one of the other cool things is that like there's certain areas where you actually have to get out of your ship, and when you get out of your ship, then you're kind of managing your air. And there's like boss battles like this that you're seeing on screen where you kind of have like this huge Moby Dick monster. Apparently, we were the first people to play it. Like we walked in, this was the first game we played, so we were actually the first people to play it. And they told us that not many people actually get through the boss battle, and I did, so that was pretty neat. So that one's called Depths of Insanity. It's actually, if you go to their website, which is bombsheltergames.com, they actually have the alpha available for download on their website. I'm just gonna maximize this. So if you go to their website,
what platform is it on?
I believe it was just on PC at the moment. It's not out yet, right? Like I said, it's an early alpha. So I don't even think it's on Steam or anything at the moment. Like you go to their website, Depths of Sanity, and there's just literally a download button right here that you can click to get the alpha. So if that's something
it looks like something I'd enjoy on mobile, just because it looks like it would be like a fun little.
I think it would be a little difficult to play on mobile, honestly.
I guess because you have to spin and stuff like that, right? You have to.
And there's some very like kind of pinpoint areas that you have to kind of like drive your ship through. So, I mean, I guess controlling it with like the touchscreen controls could be okay. I don't know if it would be like the greatest experience trying to because you're piloting your ship and simultaneously like shooting, and like I don't know. I could see it kind of getting a little bit difficult because you're like your ship can be moving in one direction, but you're facing the other direction. Right, because you like turn around, like since you have that inertia, like if you start going really fast one way, you can like spin around and be shooting like in the reverse direction. So it'd be a little tough on mobile, given kind of like the current control scheme and kind of the way it currently works. But I think it's pretty cool. And so like I said, if that's something that looks interesting to you guys, they have the alpha on their website, and I'd say go ahead and give it a try. All right. Let's see. Anything from chat? Don't see anything. No one's talking about Depths of Sanity.
No one else played it.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, no one else who was there with us is in chat right now. Actually, well, Gamer Dad was there, obviously, but like Q.U.B.E isn't on. Champ is just never on, which is for the best.
Probably, yeah.
Hey, congrats to Gog and Gouda for leveling up to level 10 White Gamer. Thank you for hanging out and supporting the stream. You can show the chat box for that. Woo! Level 10 White Gamer. Alrighty. And now we're going to go into a very fun game that I'm very excited for. Professor X, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? And just to recap to everybody, while we're talking about the game, we're kind of like ignoring chat to go through it so we can kind of focus on the B-roll and the conversation. And then we're kind of like circling back on chat to see if there's any questions at the end. So as we're talking about it, if you guys want to like pipe questions, at the end I can circle back and I'll see if there's any questions and we'll try and answer them. But I won't see them while we're chatting. All right, so now we're going to go into the next game. You ready, Mr. Ryan?
I am.
And guys, also real quick, let me know if like the audio and everything is okay on the stream. Because obviously this is kind of a different experience with what we're doing right now, and we've just kind of been throwing it together. We're trying to kind of like film the segments live that we're gonna then break out into like separate videos for YouTube and stuff for later, and I'll try and edit these. But I thought it'd be fun to be able to like kind of talk to chat in between as we do it and kind of have you guys talk to us. So audio is great. Okay, cool. All right, then with that, let's go into the next thing. All right, so the next game that you guys all saw that I actually didn't play because I already had played it at E3, the exact same demo, which is one of my most anticipated games of this year, is Detroit Become Human. So like I said, this was they had like I'm so happy they were pushing this game really hard. They had a massive display there, like pretty much I'd say three-fourths, maybe two-thirds to three-fourths of the Sony booth was just all Detroit Become Human. Like they wanted to get that demo into as many hands as possible. It was the same demo I played at E3, so I just kind of like it's a type of demo where you get multiple endings depending on what you do. But I just let you guys play it and experience it for the first time and kind of like watch what you guys were doing. So Ryan, like, why don't you kind of tell? I'm gonna play this video here, and why don't you kind of tell us what like your experience was and kind of like what you got out of it?
Yeah, I vaguely remember seeing, I think maybe a trailer or something like that in the past, but I had almost basically forgotten about it. And then once you guys are like, as soon as I got there, you guys are like, you need to go play this game. So we went, we waited in line. It only took maybe like 15 minutes because, like you said, there was a ton of places set up there to play
Mm-hmm.
it. And the game, it looks amazing, right?
Absolutely.
It's so atmospheric. There's so much detail and everything, and it plays so smoothly in terms of um, controls and the way that it portrays the environment and everything. But I definitely had this feeling of um, I don't like anxiety because I knew that there was something crazy going on outside. Obviously, there's a hostage situation, and I needed to find all this information. And it was like, are you going to go over here? Are you going to go to this? Um, but it was so awesome. I ended up rushing out there. I did well. I survived, or I saved the day, but it was one of however many endings there were there
Right.
that I didn't even know that you could get to. It was pretty crazy. It was awesome. I liked it.
So what was which ending did you get again?
So I don't remember what my exact percentage was at the end, but I ended up making a mad dash in slow motion as he was grabbing her and falling back off of the building.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the girl, pulled her back onto the rooftop, but the momentum threw me and the perpetrator down off the building. So
Right.
my android died, but I saved the day. So I guess it was a win, but it wasn't a complete win.
Yeah,
So
it's like mission success, but like your character dies. Um, so actually, uh, Brian Deckard, who's the actor who plays Connor here that you're seeing on screen, who's the android, um, he uh, he is like constantly like responding to our tweets on Twitter and stuff. And so when I played this at E3, I was mentioning like, oh, I really want to play this game. I haven't been able to get into it yet. And he kept telling me like, oh, just try again, try again. And finally, he tweeted at me at the last day of E3. And he was like, hey, look, I heard if you get there like first thing in the morning, like before the reservations start, because that's why I couldn't play because they had reservation only. They're like, if you get there the first 30 minutes of the day, there's no reservations and they'll just let people in, but you got to be there like first thing. So I literally sprinted to that booth first thing in the morning at E3 to get on this. And he was like, two things: save the fish and don't let me die. Well, I saved the fish, but he died. I killed Connor. I had the same ending as you, actually. I think I didn't fall off the building, but I did get. He shot me as he was falling off the building, and that ended up killing me. But I did save the girl as well. Um, and then a buddy of ours, I guess, got like the perfect ending, which is where the guy dies, but Connor doesn't die. I don't know if there's another ending where like everyone lives and like even the
see,
perpetrator
that's what
survives.
happened to me right there in
That's
the
that
trailer.
ending that you just saw in the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's super super cool. Like I highly recommend. So this is by Quantic Dream, which is the studio that made Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. These guys have like a phenomenal pedigree. They have kind of mastered the art of creating these games that have like a lot of different branching choices. And I think this one they're like really really going all in on it and like truly trying to make a story. I saw a behind closed doors demo of this last year at E3, where they showed two scenarios that played out totally differently. Where in one, like the main character who's not Connor here, he he dies, and in another one, or he gets arrested or something, and then and I can't remember exactly. I think he dies actually, and then like that's it. Like your character is no longer there to play the game with. And then in another one, like it's like a peaceful resolution, and he just escapes the police, and that's it. This guy here is the main character of the game, or one of the main characters. So yeah, I mean, it looks super super cool. It's obviously going to be a very cinematic, like narrative-driven experience, but I highly recommend it. It's coming out soon, May 25th. So if that's something that looks really interesting to you, then definitely keep that one on your radar and be on the lookout. Go pre-order it. If I mean, if you're into pre-orders, I guess there's probably some cool stuff you get for pre-ordering. I don't know, but I think that's going to be one. I think that's going to be a big seller this year.
I love cinematics in games, right? Because I'm already a Metal Gear Solid fan, so
Yeah.
obviously I just like watching cinematics and not playing a game,
Right.
because that's how they handle their stuff. But it's like that only you actually get to play and make decisions
Yeah.
and things like that.
And like the entire game feels like a cinematic.
Right. Put some headphones on, like
Yeah.
turn the lights out, go sit in front of your screen,
Right.
and just get completely immersed in it. And it doesn't seem like that would be hard at all with the way
Right.
that they set everything up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. All right, I think that's it. Any last thoughts on Detroit?
No, that sums it up.
Cool. Detroit Become Human. It's a Sony exclusive coming out May 25th. Make sure you guys check that out. Hokidoki. I don't think we got anything from the Chatterino. I can put that back up. Yeah, nothing from chat here. So that was Detroit. Oh, you know what I meant to queue up that I forgot to do is the next one. Let me find a trailer for that really quickly. That game is like Westworld Part Dos. Yeah, the difference even crazier than Westworld in that I don't even know if that you're not necessarily uncovering kind of like a mystery and piecing stuff together. I mean, I guess you are in that part. Like in that demo that we're playing, you are definitely solving a mystery. And you're actually trying to solve a hostage negotiations. You're trying to figure out what happened so that you can best negotiate with the hostage. You're the hostage negotiator. But what's cool is that like it does have, like it truly has multiple endings, right? It truly has, like, depending on how you play it and the decisions you make, you're going to affect the outcome. So
it tells you while you're doing it too, like what the percentage of success is going to be.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know if that's just a demo thing. Like, I don't remember if... So, like, at the end of the mission, it tells you, here's all the branching outcomes that you could have had. Like, you could have made this decision and it would have led to X. And so you can kind of see the... And then there's certain things that are locked. Like, it doesn't tell you what the outcome is. It just has, like, a lock key on it. I saw. So I
think it also let you, like, replay it at certain spots.
Right. So you can
at the end.
Right,
I think
so
it lets you like say, okay, here this branches between these two different things. You went one way. Do you want to replay it from this spot, or do you want to replay it from the beginning? So you can actually go through and experience every single different web.
Right, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Does the AI get better based on the individual decision you make? So you mean the AI of the characters? So I think the whole point of the story is going to be, so like what you kind of saw there in that trailer is actually like pretty much an opening. I think it's going to be kind of an intro to the game. Kind of setting up the world, because from what I've seen in other trailers, the game is mostly going to revolve around that actually AIs have become basically like self-aware, and they're able to kind of, or at least one of the AIs, he kind of developed, like the androids kind of develops a way to kind of unlock the other androids from their shackles, I guess, that kind of bind them from... That kind of keep them from, I don't know, harming humans or rebelling or anything like that. Like, would it give better choices you can as a character? So you're saying like based on the decisions you make, can you then get like more and more intelligent decisions? I mean, I don't think that will be the case. But so as an example, in this game, you are in this demo that we played, you're investigating a crime scene. So as you're investigating that crime scene, you are uncovering clues. And if you don't spend the time to uncover, so like Ryan here, I think you only had like 68% chance of success because you kind of missed certain clues you didn't get. So certain dialogue options are not available to you if you don't find the clues. You know, you don't, or if you try and lie, or if you try and choose a dialogue option that you don't have all the information for, it can actually go have like the opposite effect that it would have had if you had the information for it. So in that way, the game is, and like the dialogue choices are totally affected by your gameplay. And so like,
yeah, because I got to
ahead.
the point where I kind of got like anxious about like all these gunshots and things that were going on. So I thought there was some like internal timer that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
So I was like running around. I was like, I got some stuff, I got whatever. So I'm at like 60 or 70%. Like, just let me go out there and try to save it. So it just depends on what different sections of the area you investigate. It opens up different other pieces of dialogue that you can talk to. Like if you go into his room, you know his name, so you can refer to him by his name, which then builds trust. If you have more information about the girl and more information about what went on, then
Right.
like you said, like it helps you in talking him down.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. So I think in that way, the game, is definitely.
I didn't save the fish though.
You did
Sorry.
not say that. That's why you died. But I did save the fish and I died too. So apparently, that's not the end all be all. But yeah, like as an example, I had 99%. He had 60 something percent. But at the end of the day, we ended up both choosing to like sacrifice ourselves to try and save the girl, I think, or something. Or no, he went to jump for you, right? Like he tried. Was it yours that he tried to jump with the girl, and then you like threw yourself off to save her?
Yeah, I was getting to the end, and he was like, you know what, like, what does it matter, or whatever. And I had moved up the ceiling, the whatever, the roof close enough that I guess by the time he went back,
To jump.
maybe it wasn't close enough that as he went back, they were already like way past that I couldn't grab her, and not my momentum wouldn't take me off.
Right.
So
Yeah, and so in my situation, he was basically getting ready to stand down, and instead I idiotically chose the option with 99% success rate. I chose the option sacrifice self. And so I sacrificed myself to save the girl when I clearly had enough information and I had talked him down where I could have saved her and myself, and I just chose the wrong option because it gives you like a couple seconds to choose an option, and I just like chose one because it really does put that sense of like haste on you to do the right thing, and I screwed that up. So cool. These are good questions. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so I'm gonna turn off the chat box, and we're gonna go into the next game. I got the video all queued up now because I forgot to do that before. So altruistic. Okay, you ready for the next one, Mr. Ryan?
I'm ready. I didn't play it, but I'm ready.
Huh?
So I didn't play it, but I'm ready.
I didn't play it. Oh, you didn't. Oh, that's right. You didn't play this one. That's okay.
I watched you play it though.
You did watch. Okay, so you kind of have an idea of what it looks like. Cool. All right. Okay, the next game that we saw is actually a big time favorite of mine. I saw this game last year at Pax East. It's Lightfall by Bishop Games. I have been super excited. I've been preaching this game to you guys for a year straight now. I'm still just as excited about it as I was before. It's a 2D platform. 2D platformer. Let me play this video while we kind of talk here. It's a 2D like super like tight controlled 2D platformer with like this beautiful art style. But the kind of hook of the game is that you can summon a platform up to 4. You can summon your own platform, which is this cube thing that you're seeing, up to 4 times until you need to touch the ground again. This game is winning all kinds of awards. It just kind of like totally changes the way you really think about a platformer, right? Like when you can create your own platform, Like there's certain areas of the game that you can just completely skip over if you want to, because you never, like there's an area where you're like driving a boat over water and you can just like skip all the platforms. If you're going fast enough, if you hold right trigger to basically give yourself a boost, you can just totally jump over the entire like water section and then, you know, get to the next checkpoint without ever doing any of the platforming they built in. But the neat thing is, like, they built that into the game, right? Like they expect you to do those types of things. And so they have to design the level for the people who are going to kind of take it slow, but also for the people who are going to take it really fast. So I'm just going to kind of, I guess, keep replaying the trailer. The other cool thing you can do with your block is you can actually control it and move it around. So you can use it to like block laser beams. You can use it to attach to items to trigger, like in one you attach it to a boat and then you spin it, and that's actually like the propeller of the boat, and so you can move the boat through the water. And then it also gives you like this smash attack, so you can smash through like walls and obstacles and that kind of thing. I don't know, this game is just like super freaking awesome. Mr. Goggin is saying right click loot, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it's just, I played it again. This is the boss, right? What you were just saying right there was like one of the boss levels, actually. And I think there's a whole lot of mystery to this game that we're just not even aware of yet. And like I said, I got to play it again this year. It just is even better than I remember it. I got to play more of it this year, and I'm just so excited. This game was supposed to come out last month. They just recently announced that they're partnering with Nintendo. They're going to be coming out on the Switch. They were revealed on stage at the Nindy Showcase for that. And I think that kind of just delayed them a little bit, just because, you know, there was some additional work and kind of porting to that platform. But they did assure me that like their goal right now is like this month, April 2018. That's their like, they're like, we're making sure we're getting it out, unless like something like horrible happens at this point. So I don't know. I'm sure, Ryan, you didn't get a chance to play this one, so you may not have much to add here.
No, but we couldn't get you away from the booth when we were there. You said you're not going to have to buy the game afterwards because you're going to play everything while you're there.
So I'm actually wearing their t-shirt. This is the official Lightfall shirt I bought at PAX. It's pretty cool. Little logo. Says, you can't really see that. It says Lightfall on the back there. But yeah, I definitely, if you guys like platformers, if you like games like Ori, Celeste, like super challenging platformers, that are great for speed running and that have tons of collectibles, and that just have like a really beautiful art style, I definitely recommend you guys check this one out. I think they said it's only going to be $15, so honestly, great for the price. You see all the kind of the commendations and the awards that's gotten rolling on the screen here. You don't need to take my word for it. Take the word of all these much better people and go get this one. End of story.
Anything else? Looks cool. Initially it looked a little like underwhelming when I first saw it, because it kind of has the same sort of like that silhouette art style that some other platformers have had before it. But I think once you take a look at it and watch someone play it or watch any of these videos, it kind of reminds me of, you know, the challenges that some platformers have had to kind of recreate the quickness and the fastness of like a Sonic game or something like that, where you can kind of like fly through levels.
Yeah.
It kind of it really helps in that, because you can kind of just fly through stuff. You don't there's no set path necessarily, and you have this utility with your cube that you can kind of go wherever you want to go and just continue that fast movement through the place. So I mean, it definitely looks like it would be something fun, fast to play. So
yeah, the game definitely like encourages you to go faster. It almost seems easier if you're moving really quickly and just kind of making these split-second decisions. It's not, to a certain extent. What's easier is that you can jump further a lot of the times. You can clear obstacles. But when you're going that fast, like you're gonna inevitably run into something. But the fact that like it makes you feel like you're in more control the faster you're going, like I don't know, is like just a testament to like how great this game is going to be for like speed running or something. Because if you once you do learn to kind of harness that speed and really really control it, like you're gonna feel like a freaking god blowing through this game. It's gonna feel so like I can't wait to just play this one and then just try and 100% like master a level in like the fastest time possible. Like I never speed run stuff, but like I want to try and speed run this game. Like I can't wait.
Yeah, looks awesome.
So, all right. So that's it for Lightfall. Like I said, it was supposed to be out last month. They announced they're coming to the Switch, so that put a little bit of a delay. It's going to be out on PC and Switch. The devs there told me this month. So fingers crossed that it's coming very, very, very soon, and you guys will be able to get your hands on that shortly. Okay, let's pause that and let's bring back up anything from chat. Let's see, we got to go back here for our chat box. Goggin says he likes it. Yeah, thanks Goggin for that hint of the right-click loop. That was a good idea on that one. Just kind of like keep looping the YouTube video in the background. I didn't even think about that. Goggin likes the t-shirt. We had a few people in the Conquest, but only Goggin Gouda came out victorious. And got those 1,000 hyper bucks. Gamerdad says, the way the narrator brought me in, I fell in love with it. Like the narrator storytelling in Child of Light. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Child of Light, great game, by the way. A little mini kind of, I don't know, like $20 Ubisoft RPG. Very kind of like painted art style, which is really cool. But yeah, this one, like the narrator Strix, I think is the owl's name, is really, really cool. He's just got like a great voice. They did a really good job with the voice acting of that one. And it absolutely does. It draws you into the story, and it really, as you're playing the demo, they talk about like all the spirits, and you're kind of like, you're in this place called Umbra, and all the people, all the citizens who live there are all missing or like encased in like these blue crystals for some reason, and no one really knows why. So you're obviously going to kind of be unlocking these mysteries, and even as I was playing, you find these kind of hidden orbs or like these hidden gems or something, and there is clearly like there's these yellow wheels that you can get to from the checkpoints. You can it'll like teleport you into like this other dimension kind of place where there's these like, as you collect the stones, you see these like wheels fill up. So I'm assuming once you kind of like collect all of them, you're going to get even more secrets to the game. So I think there's definitely some depth to this one that I'm very excited to explore. Okay. So this is all day one, by the way, guys. We're skipping games here. Like, this is what I'm telling you. We went on Thursday, and there was like, it was such like low, like they had half capacity, or they had like half of capacity was there. Like it was so empty. We were just flying through games, and it was amazing. And yeah, we're gonna skip a couple games here, and we're gonna talk about the next one. There were a ton of games. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me turn off chat. We're going dark. You ready for the next one, Ryan?
Ready.
Okidoke. You know what? Why don't I just bring up the video first? Because that would be the smart thing to do, right? Right?
Would be.
Yeah. Pro. This is pro Twitch streamer, pro YouTuber, Game Tangent up in the house, doing shit on the fly. That's how we roll. All right. Next up. All right, so the last game from day one of PAX East that we're going to talk about is this first-person shooter, like Quake-style shooter, but that deals like with anti-gravity. It's called Fatal Velocity, and let me switch over to the video and kind of roll that. and we'll set the loop up. And so, Ryan, you played this. I think you played this one. You said too, right? A little bit.
Played this.
Yeah. And so, kind of as you can see, like, so Lawbreakers, right? If you guys remember, was this other kind of first-person shooter game that came out recently that had kind of like anti-gravity zones. But this one, the entire world has not zero gravity, but just like very low, like extremely low gravity. And so you have jetpacks, you have these like gravity grappling hooks that allow you to kind of like Spider-Man around the map, right? And you have two hands, and each hand is either, you can change kind of like the items that are on it. And so that's like your left trigger, right trigger. So you can put like a grappling hook on both hands. You can put one on one where you can put like more of a weapon on the other hand. And you can also pick up, there are like weapons and stuff, like actual traditional guns and stuff hidden around the map. You have these power-ups, like you can do like a power slam into the ground. You have like a gravity grenade that you can throw. But the point is not really to kill the other team, but to actually throw them off the map onto the boundaries of the map. And so the faster you get them going using your gravity sling, the harder it is for them to slow themselves before they slam into the edge of the map. So I don't know. This was a really cool one. What did you think about it, Ryan?
It was crazy as soon as I started playing it.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't get a ton of tutorial when I first stepped into it, and so I just started hitting buttons and following the on-screen prompts for things to do, and I was flying across the map, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I couldn't necessarily find anybody to fight against because I think they were kind of doing the same thing. But I got to the point where I could finally like target people and try to pull them and push them and things like that. So it was definitely cool. And it, like I said, like extremely fast moving across the map.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty hard to keep up, but you definitely do kind of, like kind of learn to master it a little bit. I think kind of, I played it for I think a little bit longer than you did, and as you go, there's a little bit of a forgiveness on kind of like the grappling hook for another player. And so, if you're trying to grapple onto another player, you don't have to be like pinpoint precise, but you have to be pretty close. It definitely has, like I said, it has that Quake style feel where it's like super fast paced, where you're just like constantly moving. Yeah. And I mean, the whole point is it's fatal velocity, right? It's to like throw the person off the map as fast as possible. Or I think you can even, like, if you slam them into the ground, like, extremely hard, that also kills them. And so the point is around moving really, really fast and getting other people moving very, very fast. So it's a little bit crazy and it's a little bit hectic, but god damn, it was a lot of fun. So this was Range Plus One Inc. was the developer. And these guys, they said they were a team of 2 developers. And so for that, like, if you look at this game, it's freaking impressive. And they basically just said that they just are constantly like iterating on it every day. They're out in early release on Steam right now, so you can go out there and you can pick up this game right now and kind of get in on it. And they're constantly just like looking for feedback and looking for ways to improve the game over time, and bring it to a larger and larger community. So I don't know if this is something that like looks interesting to you, or if you like those kind of Quake style shooters, if you like the kind of anti-gravity stuff that was in Lawbreakers, then I definitely recommend just checking this one out, because it was a ton of fun. It took a little bit to learn, but once we picked it up, I really didn't want to put it down. So
yeah, it was definitely
recommend this one.
It was definitely a change of pace in terms of the other FPSs and things like that. So
Right.
Like you said, not like extremely concentrated on guns and things like that. It was more on, like it says, physics combat, where you're trying to actually grab people, throw people, run across the map, fly across the map, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I don't have I forgot to look up the pricing on that one. 'Cause it's early access on Steam. So this is, let's take a quick look. Fatal Velocity. It says $12.99 on Steam right now. So pretty sweet for an early access game. I think they're going to constantly, like I said, they're going to constantly be improving it. And what they had already was pretty impressive. So definitely check them out. and let us know what you think. Okay, Fatal Velocity over. I think that's the end of day one, you guys. So let's see. With this game, was there single life or did your character have multiple lives? Yeah, you definitely had multiple lives. I mean, it was a deathmatch style game. So this one was actually this one was free for all. I don't know if there were. I assume there was team deathmatch and that kind of stuff. And the one that we were playing was free for all. I'm reading their. It says no guns, no AC-130s, no health mechanic, but I definitely remember that there were pickups, and I could have sworn I saw someone pick up
They were
a gun.
There were orbs or energy balls or something like that. I don't think there were ever guns. It was more of an ability, you picked up being able to pew people.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely remember picking up a gun, but it may have just been a gravity gun or something kind of more in that vein. I don't see. I was trying to see if they had team deathmatch or anything. But yeah, I mean, you definitely what we were playing. I think it was just an infinite. I think there was just no level cap. So basically, when someone jumped off, we jumped in, and it's really. I mean, it was pretty quick to respawn. 3-4 seconds or something like that, and then you're back into the action on this. On the same map.
Yeah.
And then there's also hazards on the map as well. I forgot to mention that in kind of the main section, but that was the other thing. You are trying to throw them into hazards on the map that kill them. And I forgot to switch over to here so we can see the chat box. But
looks like they have a lot of vlog. Well, not a lot. I mean, but there's some updates there in your up next list from the developers.
On their.
Yeah, it looks like they do some vlog updates for the game.
On Steam, you mean?
Yeah.
I see they have patch notes. Yeah, I think they're just constantly iterating, which is really cool. Especially for two people. Just making a game like this and then just constantly improving it over time is quite impressive.
Well, they picked something that was different, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. All right. I think we're almost. I'd say we're almost we're getting to halfway ish.
Day one done.
Day one is done. All right. Let's turn off the chat box. We're gonna go into the next game here. You ready, Mr. Ryan?
Ready.
This is gonna be your baby.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So the first game that we saw on day 2 of PAX was the new MMO RPG, Ashes of Creation. I'm gonna let Ryan maybe take the lead on this one, and you can tell us your thoughts since I'm not a big MMORPG player, and I know you definitely are.
Well, I'll start by saying this was the most anticipated MMORPG. Without any qualifier there, just the most anticipated.
That's what was rolling on their trailer. It just kept saying that over and over again.
Yeah, and that's all I saw plastered everywhere about this thing. And I mean, we did wait in line 3 hours to play.
Right.
15-minute demo, which is, I mean, we anticipated, I think, a lot. But I didn't know a ton of information about it before I went in there, but I knew about it and I knew it was something that I wanted to check out. I just didn't realize it was going to take us that long to actually get in there and try it out.
Yeah, 3 hours was way too long.
Yeah, it was really long. So I mean, I guess the idea of this MMO is that the thing that makes it different is there's this whole node system throughout the world where players can go up and they can build sort of cities and villages and things like that, and supply it with all kinds of things that they can kill through the environment, and make up their own rules and all kinds of this crazy stuff where basically the players can do whatever they want to do in sections of the world. we didn't really get to test any of that out in
Right.
the demo. We were kind of led through a scripted segment of the game, which I didn't really like, and I don't think many other people when we played together, we didn't really like it that much. Because it just kind of threw you in there, and it didn't give you any sort of background on what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just threw some abilities at you, didn't give you time to figure out what they were. They did have every station basically was set up with um, a ranged class, a tank class, a healer class, um, and what was the other one that was in there? Another like probably melee.
Templar, yeah,
Yeah,
or not some melee class, yeah, I think
yeah, another
damage dealer,
melee
yeah,
DPS class. And then you had a dev with you, or at least someone there to guide you through the demo, which was nice. And it would have been nice if they had balanced the audio so you could hear the guy as you were going into combat, and he would explain a little bit more of what's going on, and he wasn't rushing through it.
yeah,
It just the whole setup was bad, I think, in terms of a demo at an expo like that.
right,
Because I think they were probably trying to rush people through because they were like, these guys are waiting 3+ hours in line
yeah,
to play the game. So, but I mean, overall, as an MMO, it didn't do anything special for me.
yeah,
It was kind of your typical stuff that you see from most, new MMOs that rise up who try to kind of carve their way into the genre.
yeah,
But it wasn't something that I think that I would get latched onto and say, "Oh, I need to get this as soon as it comes out."
yeah.
So,
At least based
and
off
so,
what you played in the demo.
oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, yeah. I have a as you know, I'm not an MMO RPG player, especially these type of MMOs. Um, I I still like I have a hard time thinking that many people would enjoy the demo and the way in which it was presented. Like I think even you who you are a big MMO player, like you coming out of it, like it didn't tell you anything that would differentiate it from like any other MMO, right? It's like, oh look, you have a bunch of abilities, you have a healer, you have a ranged person, you have whatever. Okay, and by the way, we're just gonna give you all your abilities. We're not gonna show you any of the like we're not going to show you any of the skill trees. We're not going to show you any of the like the world building and all that kind of stuff that like we talked about that's supposed to differentiate it from other games. Like they talked about like city building and like how every guild can like they basically like create your own city and then set all your own rules for that city and all kinds of stuff. And none of that is in there. And literally they had a developer that was there walking us through, and instead of telling us like even information about the abilities that we were using, right? Like we weren't even getting any type of insight into, oh, you're a healer. Like, hey, your number 4 hotkey is like this attack, or is this healing spell? It's gonna do this. Like this is when you should use it. It was just none of that. It was literally like you had a full, like, set of hotkeys with all your attacks on them that you had no idea when to use them, what they do, aside from just like the symbol that's on it. And the guy was even telling us like, oh well, my character's like way overpowered, so I'll just be doing most of the damage, and then you guys can kind of just like attack him as well to kind of make the encounter go faster. And it's like, well, that's not fun, you know?
No. No, and I mean that's a problem. That's a problem that most MMORPGs I think have in terms of demos and stuff like that. Is
Yeah,
you can't just throw someone in there and just give them a ton of abilities and expect them to know what to do or how to do those sort of things.
right.
You have to kind of let them read the tooltips and understand what each ability does and understand how to play the game. And the demo did a bad job of that. And maybe that was just because I mean, it maybe could have been they didn't have enough hardware set up there to push as many people through as they could and do a complete demo.
Yeah,
But it didn't do well.
yeah. I think a game like this, first of all, we're waiting 3 hours in line. That's not their fault, right? I mean, sure, partially like they could have had more systems set up, something like that, right? But they did have like it was divided into player v player versus and then another line for player v enemy, right? PvE versus PvP. the PvP line was going through very quickly. I think they were devoting a lot of their machines towards that, whereas like the PvE line was going really slowly. Again, it's not like that's not entirely their fault. That's whatever. We didn't have to wait in that long line. We could have come back another time. We didn't realize it was that long. That's on us, sure. But like, while we're waiting in line, hand out some cards. Like last year, I went. I waited in a pretty long line for Mass Effect Andromeda, right? And like while we were waiting to do the PvP experience, they handed out cards. They're like, okay, it had all the different players on it, and it had like, what are the we're giving you a pre-built character. If you want to be this type of, you want to be a tank type character or whatever, you're going to pick this one. Here's the attacks you're going to have. It's going to be mapped to your left bumper, your right bumper. Like, so while we're waiting in line, we have nothing better to do. We're reading that. So by the time we sit down at the computer, we're like ready to go. We know what our attacks do. We know what we should be using. Like, that would have made the demo, I think, a much more enjoyable experience.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that, but that would have made it a bajillion times better.
Right?
Not only the fact that they would have been out there kind of like talking to you, and they probably could have alluded to the fact, because every other line that we got into, they were like, hey, from this point on, it's going to be an hour and a half, or they're capping their lines at an hour and a half, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like, say, they had like cards out there, which every other place had. Give, hey, what do you want to play? Range? You want to play healer? Whatever you want to play. Yeah. Here's a list of the abilities you're going to have when you get up there, so you know what to do.
Yeah.
And how much more smooth that would have made the process.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think at now, like, it's kind of one of those states where I can't really pass judgment. I mean, I would think that you just basically, you have a bad taste in your mouth right now, but it's probably you don't have enough information to actually tell like how this is different from like another MMO. So like you probably honestly can't make like an assessment based on just like what they showed us there.
Right. I have a bad taste in my mouth about it. I mean, the game looked really good.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
In MMORPG standards at this time. And the combat was typical combat.
Yeah.
But I guess what sets it aside is that whole node system, which I didn't really get to try.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to like write it completely off, but it definitely doesn't have a good first impression for me. So
I agree. And mind you, we're saying it looks beautiful. What you're seeing here on screen is like this cinematic trailer, which like they're very big at showing off all these cinematic trailers, but obviously it's a top down MMORPG, just like WoW or something, where third person top down perspective. Like it doesn't look like this when you're really playing the game. You have a super cluttered UI overlay with like tons of information kind of popping up constantly. You're never kind of getting down into like the individual character texture maps like you're seeing on these cinematic trailers. But even still, it did look really beautiful. And I'm sure that there are probably cinematics in the game during certain sections if they're spending this much time talking up their cinematics.
Yep.
So that was Ashes of Creation. Intrepid Studios, they said they're targeting the end of 2018. So I think they said alpha was going to be coming sometime soon, or was already going into alpha. I'm not entirely sure, but the last thing I saw when I was just researching this online just now is the end of 2018. So be on the lookout for that one. Okay. Let's switch over here. Let's stop that video. I don't think we have anything from the chat.
Man, the more I think about it, they really screwed that whole thing up.
That whole experience, yeah.
Just think about the stuff like you just said that they could have done. They could have been passing out cards like, here's things to do. Yep. They could have been walking through the lines. Like, all you need is one person. Walk through the line and tell people what the game is actually about that's different.
I know. I mean, don't even walk through that was the frustrating thing, right? Like, as we're playing the game, the guy is telling us what's different about the game. The guy who's supposed to be shepherding us through and helping us play the game, instead it's just basically doing like a sales pitch for the game the whole time we're playing, which of course we're unable to listen to because we're trying to figure out what the hell we're supposed to be doing. And he's just like, yes, the game is very interesting and has this node and like city building stuff and like your guild and blah, blah. But like you can't hear him because the audio is totally unbalanced. We were trying to like turn it up, it just wouldn't work. Like I don't know, it was it was a bad demo, and like I said, it left a sour taste in our mouths, I think. But what are you gonna do? Hopefully, they get better at showing their game at future conventions.
Yeah, let's hope.
So, okie dokie. Ashes of Creation. That one is done. Next up. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Let's get that video going. Let's pause it.
This should be a quick one.
Yeah, I think so. Set it to loop. Hopefully that'll work. And I'll turn back off chat since there's no chat. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, the next game of Day 2, Pax East 2018, was this cool little 4-player. I put 4-player co-op in our notes, but it's not co-op. It's a 4-player PvP battle game called Armed and Gelatinous. One of those just funny little indie titles, but it kind of tells you a lot of what you need to know about the game. I don't even know how to explain this. It's like you're in a 2D space and you're these little blobs, and basically you have like a ton of weapons that you pick up on the map as you move around. As you're kind of seeing here, you get your firepower, and they just kind of attach to your blob in like a random-ish direction. And when you shoot, they all shoot like everywhere, right?
Yep.
And the more guns you get and like the longer you survive, the bigger your blob gets until you're taking over like a huge part of the screen. And you can like you have a dash attack, I think it was like a charge attack. And so you can charge around just to kind of get out of harm's way, but then also like if you hold the charge attack for about 1 second and then release it, it's like an insta kill on anyone you hit, even like the really huge blob guys with tons of guns. I don't know. It was a lot. It was like a short little indie game that we played, but it was a lot of fun. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was fun, and that's what I liked about it. It was simple.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and like you said, like even if you're a huge blob, you could still get destroyed by one of those dash attacks. So
right.
It was cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm seeing this now on the trailer for the first time, but it looks like there's other modes. Like I saw like a soccer mode in the trailer right there. I don't know if you were. I don't know if my screen share is still working for you. If you were able to see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that soccer mode while we were there.
Yeah, I didn't see it while I was there either. But it looks like a ton of different maps, a ton of different weapons. I wanted to fast forward to kind of the little soccer thing, or was that right? Because that was like a total different mode. It's just like knocking a soccer ball around. Like that's just totally different than the other part of the game that we played. So seeing that just was very surprising to me.
Yeah. I just thought it was fun. It was one of those 4-player games that you're like, hey, let's go check out this 4-player game because there was the 4 of us.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It was just fun, you know.
Yep.
Nobody had a specific advantage ever, and it was it was cool to play.
Yeah, I agree. So that was by 3 Flip Studios. I believe it just came out like in March, actually. Like I think the full game, the trailer here is saying like available now, Steam Early Access. But I think I saw on Steam that it is currently released. They had some kind of additional platforms down there. I'm not entirely sure if it was. This is like press A button, so maybe it was also on Xbox and PS4. You guys can find that out for yourselves because I unfortunately don't have that information. I know it's definitely out on PC. Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts on that one?
No, it was just pure fun.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. Armed and Gelatinous. Okay, let's go over here. Let's stop that video. Let's go over to the chat. We got Negabasta and Gagan Gouda starting up the Conquest. Yo, I'll hit that Conquest up with you guys while I'm setting up the next video. Armed and Gelatinous. What else we got? Oh, this one. Yeah, this one should be pretty quick too. started. Loop. GamerDad says that game was packed for sure. Which one is? Yeah, the Armed and Gelatinous. Was that what you were talking about, GamerDad? Did you check that one out? There's no workouts here, Negabasta. Get out of here, man. What are you doing? Did you get a chance to try it, GamerDad? We got lucky, I guess. We walked right up to it. There was just 4 empty controllers, and we were like, let's hop on.
Yeah.
Negabasa hoping I forgot to turn that off. No, I turned off everything. I went through, I turned off all the sound effects, all that kind of stuff. We're in kind of like a special setup right now. I had to tweak a lot of stuff before the stream. That's why we started like an hour late, because there was a lot of setup for it. Gamer, I didn't get a chance to try it at all. It was a lot of fun. I don't remember if they said if there was online play.
I don't remember asking.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't. Like, there's a few of these where I feel like I did actually ask some of these questions, but now, because like I last time I did these kind of videos day by day as we went, and it was just so hectic with all of us there, like in the hotel, and we had like a pretty effed up hotel experience. We were supposed to have a 1-bedroom suite, like with an extra bedroom and a living room, like a full suite with a freaking kitchen and a dining room and like all that crap. And somehow they screwed it up, and we ended up in like a 1-bedroom, like a single king size room. And there was 4 of us. And so, yeah, that was freaking interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah. So that made it tough to do these kind of videos day by day. So we never got around to it. So that's how we're doing them all at once, and which also means that I've kind of forgotten some of this stuff. Adios. All right. See you later, Negabasta, or I guess just Negabasta is passing out. Goggins just saying adios. All right. Let's hit up the next one. You ready, sir?
Ready.
Okay. You saw the pic where Q.U.B.E. He was sleeping on an air mattress, at least. That was a good picture, though. I like that picture. The funny part is that I took that picture, and like Alan was actually already in the shower, and Q.U.B.E. woke up like literally 1 second later. So it was more of a spoofed image. The actual text of the image was, I was like, I'm awake, but nobody else is. It's like that wasn't true. He was, well, I guess Champ. I was alone in the room. No one else was talking to me, I guess. All right. Let me turn off chat here. Let's get this full screen. Let's set it to loop. And we'll wait for your full screen to go away. Okay. Okay, the next game, another pretty cool, like short, kind of different indie experience that we saw. Was a rock, paper, scissors meets fencing meets coffee game. I don't know, called Coffence. It's basically a 2D like combat game, I guess, where you're fencing with coffee cups. And you guys actually found this first, I think, and then you brought me over to play it later. So do you want to kind of talk about what you thought about it?
Yeah, I think you were playing Lightfall, and we were over there.
Yeah, probably
testing it out.
Yeah.
And it was just such a weird little concept when we first came up.
Right.
But we saw it and we started playing with it, and the dev was right there to talk to us about it. So we played it for a little bit, and it was pretty cool. It's so different than what you would expect from a normal kind of like fighter like that. But like you said, it adds that whole rock paper scissor element to it, so you can kind of always combat whatever your opponent is doing.
Right.
And I mean, I guess the goal is that you have coffee in your cup, in your little teacup there.
Yeah.
And every time it gets hit, it'll throw a drop out. And if you run out of drops of coffee, then you're done.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool. You can knock your opponent's cup of coffee up and knock out some drops and grab it, or they can grab it back. All kinds of stuff like that. So there's a wide variety of different things that you can do there. And I guess there's also a power up too. You can drink your coffee and go into some like fast motion kind of thing. It technically slows down your opponent, and you get to go normal speed.
Yeah.
But there's all these sort of like different things you can play with. In terms of gameplay and fighting style. So it was pretty cool. Did you have to play it or no?
Yeah, no, I did. So I think and then I guess specifically the rock paper element, like the rock paper scissors element to it, is that the different attacks. So if you're blocking, then the spinning attack beats a block, but if you're spinning, the range attack beats the spin, and then the block beats the ranged attack, I think is what it is. So when you see them like kind of like throwing their cup like kind of on like a tether, if the character blocks that, it'll actually knock your coffee out instead of theirs. So that's kind of the like, you have to kind of see what your opponent is doing, and kind of like there's a little bit even of like a mind game to it where you're constantly trying to like one up each other, like kind of show one attack but then switch to another attack really quickly. And yeah, like you said, you have like X number of coffees in your cup, and then whoever runs out first like loses. But if your coffee drop gets knocked in the air, you can catch it, but your opponent can also catch it back. So you can like gain 1 health, but they can also recover their 1 health. So I don't know, it was really cool. It just kind of like, it seemed to just kind of like masterfully perfect what it is it's trying to be. Like it didn't seem like there was really too much else to it, but it honestly didn't need much else to be just like a fun game. So
yeah,
I thought it was cool.
It controlled really well too.
Right.
And it doesn't translate well to, in a good way. It doesn't translate well into games that are just like button smashes where you're just like, let me just, attack. Like you really had to actually think about what you were doing, see what your opponent was doing so you could do the right thing. And in that sense, it definitely made it a fun game to play and a frustrating game to play if somebody was better than you at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it looks, based on kind of like the level design and some of that kind of stuff, it looks maybe more like a Super Smash Brothers type. Like it has like these like levels where you're kind of hopping around, you're going up on platforms and all different kinds of things. But which obviously Super Smash Brothers can be like very strategic as well, but there's a lot more combos and different types of attacks. Whereas this, you just have kind of like your 3 types of attacks, and every character has those same 3. And so it's just really about kind of faking out your opponent and just mastering those like 3 attacks, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. So that was Coffence by Sweet Bandit Studios, and it's currently out in Steam Early Access, so you can check that one out now if you're interested. Okay, that was Coffence. Boom. Let's switch over here. You can pull back up the chat. Gamer Dad says Coffence! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. So I guess he really enjoyed that one too. Later, buddy. I'm out. Hit me up later. All right, Coffence. Or not Coffence. All right, Gamer Dad. See you later, Coffence. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, Gamer Dad. Thank you for stopping by and checking out the stream, my friend. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, see you, buddy.
All right, let's see. That was Coffence. We can close that. Let's get the next video loaded up. Oop. Only a few left. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Almost done. And some of these will go really quick. Okay. Turn the chat off. All right. You ready, sir?
Ready.
Cool. I'm not ready. Okay. I'm ready. Actually, let me full screen this. Set it to loop. All right. welcome back. The next game that we played on day 2 of Pax East 2018 was Aftercharge. And actually, I say that we played, but I think I'm the only one that actually played it. I don't even think any of the other people that were with us played it. But so this was a 3v3 first-person shooter, where the let me switch over. Where the two different teams were two different types of, so it's basically attack defend in a certain regard, or at least what we played. And so the attacking team were these kind of ghost robots, I guess. It says here invisible robots. I was calling them ghost robots. You had different kind of character classes. So you had, your different robots had kind of different skills, like setting down kind of mines, or setting, being able to lay down kind of shields and different things like that. And I only get to play one game as each team, so I really didn't get to experience the full set of all the different power-ups that were available to all the different classes. But basically, the attacking team are these invisible robots, and they cannot be seen by the defending team at all until they start their attack. And so, the attacking team, they don't have any weapons besides kind of like their fist for punching things. And the defending team are like the humans, and they have guns, and they have sensors that can actually detect the robots only if they walk directly in front of them. And basically, the defenders are trying to defend these charge cores that you see here. And so, and then the attackers are trying to destroy all of the charge cores. And so, basically, that's it. You're running around the map. You're trying to not be seen. But the cool thing is that any attacker can be revived. So like I said, it's 3v3, so the defenders have to take out all 3 of the attackers before their tanks, I guess, before all their charge pods get kind of blown up. But when an attacker is killed, he's not like permanently killed. He just kind of like goes down for a little bit, and he remains visible, but another attacker can revive him at any point without becoming visible as well. And so as soon as he's revived, they both become invisible again. And so the defenders kind of have to watch the person that they just killed, as well as watching kind of like the charge cores that they're leaving kind of unguarded during that time. So, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. It kind of caught my eye because it just has this like really cool kind of dark with like really bright pops of color, like these bright kind of fluorescent colors. Even their booth was like that. It had like this giant glowing like Aftercharge symbol on top of their booth, which like made it look really cool. So I don't know, Ryan, you said you didn't get to play it, but I don't know if you saw any of like the kind of the gameplay or anything.
No, it looks fun,
Yeah.
especially if it's on the Switch. It looks like a fun little Switch game.
Yeah, I don't. Did it say it was on? I didn't catch that.
I saw it on the trailer at the end.
Okay.
It says it was Switch, Xbox, and Xbox One and Steam.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that would be a really cool Switch game, I think. So let me see if I have any other information about this. So yeah, they have a closed alpha coming up April 14th, which they actually gave me a code to. So I'm going to try and jump into that maybe. I guess that would be this weekend. And kind of get a little bit more information about it and see kind of how I like that game. It really required a lot of communication, because you're constantly, you need to, especially as the defenders, you need to know like, oh, this charge core over here is being attacked, or as an attacker, hey, I'm down, can you come revive me, but there's a guy near me. And our microphones, like our headset, like the in-game chat was not working during that time. So and even with that, like we still had a lot of fun. So I definitely want to play more. It doesn't. I feel like I kind of want to. I hope that there are some more modes just besides like this one standard mode. They're targeting. They said summer 2018 release, so that doesn't leave me optimistic about there, I guess, being a lot else. I'm not sure. I'll leave it at that. I guess I'm not gonna say anything else because I honestly don't know. I need to do more research to see, I guess, what other kind of game modes there may be. So
So like, where did the defenders? You said they had like, they could set up traps and things like that. Are those things to kind of, if are they invisible to the attackers and they can get kind of caught in them and be exposed?
yeah, so I don't know. I think they were. I think they may have been like invisible to the attackers, or at least some of them.
Like
Yeah,
that would be a cool gameplay thing to like, as a defender, you kind of set up in some spots. Hey, I'm gonna put some traps here,
yeah,
and the attackers can't see it. So if they walk through and get hit by it or whatever, then they're
right.
actually exposed and
That I mean,
you
that's
can see.
exactly what the traps do. So some of them you can like block off a doorway, and so when the attacker walks through it, it actually like locks him in place there, and he's kind of stuck there and visible for a few seconds. So you can like throw these mines on the ground, and when you throw the mine on the ground, again, it actually doesn't like, I don't think it actually even kills the robots. I think it exposes them and it kind of locks them in place.
Yeah.
And then as a defender, you're only so standing near a core replenishes your energy, and so using all of these traps costs you energy. So you can use them further away from a core, but then you need to get back to a core to recharge your energy before you can use more traps. And as an attacker, while you're attacking the core, you regain health actually. So there's a little bit, once you start attacking, if the defenders are too far away, you generally can like take out that core before they can get to you. And so because you're, even as they're shooting you, you're regenerating health while you're kind of like attacking this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty cool kind of like cat and mouse type gameplay to it. So I'll be interested to see. Like I said, I think that one game mode, even with like a ton of maps, wouldn't be enough to really like sustain the community or sustain the game over time. So I'll be interested to find out more about like what other types of game modes they may have, because again, I think it would need a little bit more.
Yep.
So, but yeah, check. Like I said, I'm gonna try out the alpha. I think this weekend and give it a try, and we'll see if there is any more depth to it, or we'll see kind of like how polished all of the rest of their systems are. Because if they're targeting summer 2018, then they've got to be getting very near the end of development at this point.
Yep.
All right, cool. Okay, let's pause that. Boom. Aftercharge done. Almost done. This is another one that you didn't really get to play. I really want to talk about it. Yeah, we don't have any more from the chat at this time. Oh, I guess that audio still plays when we get the host, even though I... Thank you so much for that host, Lonely Hugs. I have all of my... I actually have all of my notifications turned off at the moment. We are doing the PAX East 2018 recap show. So Lonely Hugs is our other boy that we met at the PAX East Team MZ meetup. I don't know if he wants me to say his name on stream. I realized I said the other gentleman's name on stream, not thinking of it. So I'll refrain. Yeah, I forgot. I guess I should have. I didn't realize that alert would still play. I should, because it's in a different view. Just me. I gotta turn that off on all of these. They don't want the audio to play while we're recording this stuff. So how are you doing, Lonely Hugs? We're actually in between segments right now. We're setting up for the next one. How was your stream, my friend? Turn the chat back on. While I set up the next game, we're almost done. We're on kind of like the last 4 games here. We're getting towards the end. Click that. Bring that video over here. It was an awesome stream. What did you play? me give a little shout out to my boy Lonely Hugs. Detroit Become Human, #1 on your playlist. Yeah, that was one of the first games we already talked about. Then Jousting Time. Yeah, that game had like a huge line the whole time. We never really got to, we didn't get to experience that one.
No, it had a line of like maybe 10 people, and the lady was like, it's probably going to be an hour. It's going to be an hour?
I mean, I think it had a longer line than that. I mean, it was probably like 20 people. But you figure you figure even like 5 minutes each. I mean, it's in VR, setting it all up, getting ready. Like, that's an hour. You know, that's I don't know. It was a pretty long line. We were at the back of the line where they were like, "Oh, if you want to stay, can you all squeeze in so that you're not over like our allotted line space that like PAX gives us?"
I think she's trying to get rid of us.
Maybe that'd be a pretty dumb thing to do for your game. Like, no, we don't want your kind here. We don't want you playing our game.
Sometimes you order from a takeout place, and they work at a takeout place, and they're like, it's going to be 30 minutes until you get your food. When really, it's not going to be 30 minutes. Sometimes people just don't know.
Yeah. Lonely Hug says the line does go a little slow, seeing as only 2 people play at a time, and they play best 2 out of 3 rounds.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
They're probably on there for what, like 5 or 10 minutes, probably.
Yeah, and it's VR, so it's like it takes a minute to like get people in and out of the headset. Like every time they set that up, it's like, all right. I mean, you've done VRs, right? Like, did you do any VR at PAX?
Yeah, I did.
So they're like,
too.
They're like putting you in it, and they're like, all right, now hold your hands out, and then you got to calibrate your height and like all that kind of stuff a lot of the time. So it takes a hot second. All right, Lonely. So what I'm doing here is like we're kind of going into the game segments, and we talk about a game, and then I turn off chat while we're doing that, and then I'm following up on chat like after each segment. So I'm gonna turn that off here. Each round could consist of like 5 to 7 joust runs too. Oh, damn! Yes, that can be very long. All right, so let me turn off the chat box. Let me get this maximized. Let me set it to loop. Okay.
Ready.
Are you ready, sir? You are ready.
Ready.
Do I have everything set up?
Do you have an extra box in the corner? Or is that just me?
The box on your video? Is that what you mean?
The box, there's a box on like above your gameplay in the upper right. It's not my video, is it?
Above my game.
Oh, that's mine. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Welcome back, everyone. So we're now going to move on to all the stuff that we saw on day 3 of PAX East 2018. So it was kind of a shorter day for us because we were out at some of the after parties the night before. We didn't get to PAX until pretty late, I mean. And then we actually spent some time. We kind of went to. We spent some time kind of outside of PAX, going to Bethesda. Kind of had their own thing, kind of across the street at Laugh. And so we spent some time over there. And because we got there late, and we had to, and then we ended up like spending like the second like half of our day just kind of like playing some Magic, sitting down at a table playing some Magic. So we actually didn't get to too many games, but the one really big one that I definitely wanted to talk about was one of the games that I was super hyped to see, even before PAX. It was like one of my like must-see games of the show was Below. So if you guys remember, this was a game that was revealed E3 2013, actually. And they so this is by Capybara Games. It was an Xbox exclusive game. E3 2013 comes around. They show this trailer, which like looks phenomenal and looks very intriguing, and it was like on stage at E3, and people were like super hyped for this game. And then 3 years goes by, we don't hear anything, or we don't get very much more information. And then in 2016, Capybara announces like, hey, the game is indefinitely delayed. I don't know why or whatever. I never really, I guess, did the research as to figure out exactly why they delayed it. But Fast forward this year, 2018, and their first reveal of like their reemergence back into the game world is Pax East 2018, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm finally gonna be able to play this game. So I came into the show like super excited to play this, and on Wednesday I walked by the line and it was like only half full, and I was like, guys, like I had walked by it several times before, and it was like a really long line. For whatever reason, it was half full, and I was like, guys, we were like on our way to something else, and I was like, sorry, I'm ditching you. I need to like get in line for this game right now and play it. Um, and so you know, I got in the line, I sat down at the game, and what I didn't know is it was apparently they brought a 2-hour demo to the show, and they didn't let me know that beforehand. So I just started playing, and I was like, oh, it'll kick me off when I run out of time, or like when I reach a certain point. Nope, it just let me keep playing. So I played this game for half an hour straight, and I couldn't be happier with the way this game has turned out. Like, first of all, it's entirely like so it's like a dungeon crawly experience, right? Where you are kind of, gosh, I didn't even really know how to explain. So as you can kind of see from the trailer, like it maintains this aesthetic, like this very kind of dark, mysterious aesthetic, where it's kind of very top down, but the camera will kind of like pan in close to your character and move out at different times, and it gives you this like grand sense of scale, and it really kind of makes you feel small and insignificant, which is what I think the game is going for. And it starts out, and your character is just like, you get off a boat, and you're on an island, and that's it. That's literally all the information they give you, and you walk, like you just start walking, and the rest is literally up to you. Like there are crafting mechanics in the game. There's like I don't even want to like say too much. I feel like I'll spoil some of the like the revelations, but I'm going to like so fast forward or stop listening right now, I guess. Like I don't think I'm like really spoiling anything besides kind of like a gameplay mechanic. But there's like a thirst and a hunger system in the game, so you get thirsty, but like they don't tell you any of that. So you're playing the game, and all of a sudden you die, and you realize like, oh, there's like a little stomach, and it depleted, and that probably means I should have eaten something to refill that meter. So I need to find food, and then you die. Oh, I guess I needed to drink something, right? Oh, this red box in the floor. You walk up to it, boom, it spikes, it kills you. So like every time you die, I never found out if there was a checkpointing system in the game, but every time I died, at least in the demo, you start back at the beginning. Like you're back on that island, like coming in on the boat and starting from scratch. You lose all your weapons, but when you go back into the cave system and start exploring again, you can find your old dead body and like recover all your stuff. And I don't know, like the game just it was so cool how every time you die you feel like you're learning something about the game. Like you learn like you feel like you now know how to progress further. And so you rush back to the last point where you left off. The dungeon is different every time, so as you go into explore it, it's similar but never the same. So like you go into like a specific map tile, and now things have shifted around slightly, and so your body isn't exactly where you left it. It's like a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, you have like a sword and a shield, and that's kind of like your primary mechanic. There's a crafting system where you can make potions, but obviously they don't tell you how to make any of that stuff, so you just kind of have to like start throwing crap together and see what you make. I don't know. I can't speak any more highly of this game. Like I said, I played 30 minutes of it, and all it made me want to do is just play it even more. So super excited for this. They said they pretty much promised that like it's coming later this year. They wouldn't specify kind of like a time to me when I asked, other than like coming this year in 2018. So super excited for that. Ryan, I don't know if I know you didn't get a chance to play it. I don't know if you even actually saw it.
No, but it sounds
Yeah.
cool. It sounds like it has a lot of roguelike um, game mechanics in it,
Yeah,
but not as
absolutely.
crazy. I mean, if you can go back and get your body and the things that you had there
Yeah.
um, when you died,
Yep.
that kind of sounds like it kind of it it punishes you for certain things, but it doesn't punish you so bad that it would be frustrating
Yeah.
when you die,
Absolutely.
which
Um,
is which is the tough part about some roguelikes where you're like, I died, now I have to start all over again, and it's
yeah.
like, well, you have to start over again, but you can at least pick up kind of some of the things that you left off last time where you died and stuff
Right.
like that. So that's pretty cool.
And like I said, what I'm not sure is if there's like any type of checkpoint mechanic. There definitely were kind of in the overworld, like on the island before you go down into like the, the, the mountain, I guess. There were like multiple entrances with like some type of like weird like obelisk structure in the middle with like these lights that lit up when I shined my lantern on them. I have no idea what any of that meant. I assume it's going to be some kind of like, okay, when you you complete a certain dungeon and you come back out to the top, and then even if you die, you no longer have to like complete that dungeon again. But I have zero confirmation of that whatsoever. I just
Yeah,
kind of felt like that's where it was going.
I would be surprised if it didn't have something like that. It seems like it has a lot more kind of atmospheric and story elements to it,
Yeah.
progression elements to it than a typical roguelike does. So it kind
Yep.
of seems like it would kind of checkpoint you to certain areas so that you can kind of move on and continue with whatever is going on. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yep. Yeah. So that's Below by Capybara Games. It is an Xbox exclusive, at least an Xbox console exclusive. I don't know if it's Xbox and PC or not. Um, but yeah, look for that game later this year. I'm super, super hyped for it. You guys should definitely check it out. All right. Below. And that was actually an old gameplay trailer, too. I couldn't find any footage from like the most recent kind of gameplay. Oh, IGN first has the first 18 minutes of Below. I didn't get as far as they're showing in 18 minutes, that's for sure. um, yeah, we got nothing from chat here. 3 left. Almost done. This next one should be pretty quick. That going. Maximize.
Save your nuts.
Put it on loop. And
Ready.
let me turn the chat back off. Nothing going on there. Okay. Okay. The last game we're going to talk about from day 3 of Pax East 2018 was this pretty silly squirrel chipmunk based I don't know, like football game or something like that, basketball game kind of like called Save Your Nuts. um, Obviously a pretty cheeky title there. So essentially it was a 2v2 team based, and actually maybe it's not totally 2v2. I actually didn't ask if there was like 1v1v1, free for all type modes. But basically you are, was it dogs and squirrels, I think, right? Or dogs and chipmunks? What do you
I don't even remember. I thought I was a squirrel. I have no clue what I was, but I wanted, I guess I wanted nuts. So
Yeah. So you're basically trying to collect these nuts. The nut spawns like in the middle of the map. You all race for it. There's power-ups you can pick up around the map. You go over, and like each of the maps have kind of like different hazards. Like in one of them, like a train shows up, and that one you just saw in the trailer, there was like an alligator. And you can like attack the enemy to kind of like stun them and push them out of the way. And you're basically trying to get the nut and bring it back to your goal. And I mean, that's really all there is to it. Like there's nothing else to it. It was simple. Um, oh, apparently there's AI in it as well. It says 1 to 4 players plus AI, so that's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah,
I don't.
you
Yeah,
could
go
like
ahead.
pass it to your friends and
Right.
all kinds of stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it was fun. It was one of those. It was another one of those like 4 player games where just kind of like the Armed and Gelatinous game, where it was just fun to play. It was
Yeah.
just one of those party games that like you just pick up the controller
Exactly.
and play it, and they're quick, easy rounds, and it
Yep.
goes quickly, and the gameplay was nice and smooth, and it was just fun.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. It's just like a fun kind of like party game. It'd be great for kind of like couch co-op. Definitely if you had some, even though the title is a little bit kind of like cheeky, I still think it would be like fun for kids to play. Um, yeah, it was hectic and chaotic, but we were sitting there like, especially with 4 people in the same room, we're like yelling at each other and like, oh my god, like get it, like, I mean, there's not a lot of games that kind of like bring out that level of like excitement while you're playing them, and this one kind of definitely evoked those emotions for us. So I really enjoyed it. It's coming this year was all it said on their, I think on their like Steam page or something. It just said like 2018. It's by Triple Scale Games. So check it out. Keep an eye on it. And yeah, let us know what you think. All right. I guess I forgot to loop that one. I think it was playing through.
It's just people playing it right there.
Oh, I guess that's just part of the video that I found. Yeah, like towards the end, it just shows people playing the game. Oh, that's interesting. All right. And save your nuts. All right, last two. Let me get this video loaded up. Save your nuts gameplay. Let's do loop, full screen. Okay, you ready, sir?
Ready.
Okay. All right, welcome back, everyone. So now we're going to move on to day 4 of PAX East 2018. We played a few other games this day, or at least I did. I know, Ryan, you had to leave a little bit early. But a few of the games that I played, I just didn't feel like were kind of worth bringing up today. So we're going to talk about a couple of them. The first one was a really cool kind of like Portal-like first-person puzzle game. Is very much in the same vein as Portal. I'm gonna switch over to the like display here so you guys can kind of like check out the video as we talk about it. It just came out last month. They said PS4, Xbox, and PC, and they said it's coming soon to Switch. Uh, I mean, I don't know. What did you think, Ryan? It evoked Portal for me, for sure. Like, I think they even had like Portal in like the trailers and stuff like that were playing while we were on the show floor.
Yeah, it was definitely Portal-esque.
Yeah.
It it was very reminiscent of the levels and things like
Yeah.
that you imagine Portal was like.
Right.
It looked great.
Yeah.
I really liked the environments and everything was set up. It made me feel dumb a few times because it took me a couple of minutes to figure out some of the puzzles.
Yeah.
But from the demo, there weren't a ton of different things you could do, which is a reminiscent of a Portal game. You have your troll portals. So in this game, you have there was only I think 3 abilities that I think you could use. So you had like a launch pad. You had an ability to pull out a cube or some sort of platform
Yeah.
from a part of the wall, and then you had a way to sort of generate a cube.
Yeah.
Um, so it was cool. It definitely reminded me of Portal. It looked great, and it played well.
Right.
So what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, the main difference being that, uh, in Portal, you kind of had this element of like, I can put a portal anywhere and kind of like do whatever I want. And in this one, the, kind of like the abilities that you're using are very much tied to like specific squares around the map. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's something that like maybe as the game goes on they open that up and they make like a whole room which is just like those white squares where you can put cubes, and it's like up to you to just like really screw stuff up, or like put stuff wherever. Uh, but yeah, I mean for the most part it was like you have a white cube, you use one of your powers to like extrude a platform from it or to turn that platform into that white cube into a launch pad, and you're just trying to basically navigate the level. But it really had this kind of same idea of walk into like a test chamber, almost like you walk into a room, there's a puzzle for you to solve, you solve it, and then you move on to the next room. And so that was very test chambery. There was definitely some story elements that they were showing. There were some parts kind of towards the end of the demo where you're starting to go outside and kind of move out of that test chamber type feel. She's talking about how like she lost her husband recently and some other stuff or something. So they kind of skipped us around. They said we played level 1 and level 3. So I'm wondering if maybe we missed a little bit of kind of some story that would be crucial. Uh, but overall, I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I frankly, I plan on picking this game up. I think I'm gonna try and play this on stream sometime soon. This like Portal is one of my favorite types of games. I love the puzzle platformers. I love like what you said, where like it made you feel dumb, but then it probably also made you feel good when you finally solved that puzzle, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that goes to your point. I didn't think about that. The levels are they, at least to me, they seem like they were designed to be solved one way.
Yeah,
So if you couldn't quite figure out that next step in the equation, sometimes I was like, well, what am I doing wrong here? Like I'm literally trying everything and I can't figure this out. And then you're like, then it clicks and you're like, okay, wait, if I choose just a little bit different, then I can solve it.
yeah,
But you need to get those specific things in line correctly, or else you can't move through because there's really only one way to go through it all.
right.
So,
Yeah,
and I mean the story too. There's a lot of narrative going on, audio as you're walking through the levels and things like that.
yeah,
But it elicits so much of a Portal feeling that it to me it didn't really do that much story wise because you're like in this
I
weird
agree.
area and kind of working through some stuff. I mean, it's definitely cool, and you
Right,
get to some spots where there's no puzzles in an area. It's kind of like a big environment scene, and you're kind of being walked through a story, and
right,
you're uncovering it as you work through it.
right.
But it definitely wasn't. It definitely isn't story driven as much as, I mean, you know how Portal is. Portal definitely, the story is a big component, even though it's very a puzzle like.
Yeah,
The story is pretty good. So
yeah, yeah.
it was a good
No,
game though. I liked it. I had fun with it.
right. I think what remains to be seen is that even in Portal, in the beginning, it is just test chambers, right? Like it literally is. They're just like, okay, you're gonna go to test 1 now. You're gonna go to. The difference is that Portal has that kind of like silly humor that like right from the start, GLaDOS just kind of comes in and starts talking to you, and like just it just grabs you right from the very beginning. Whereas you don't really get that in this game. It kind of opens up, and you don't really have that humor. It's a much more serious tone to the game, and it's really kind of doubling down on that like sense of mystery. It was enough to make me want to kind of know what is happening there.
Hmm.
Um, so I think if the game kind of opens up as you go and kind of maybe starts to come off the rails a little bit, as kind of like how Portal does over time, I think it could be. I don't know that the puzzles will ever be uh, as I think they could be. I think they can be just even more challenging because there is, I think, only gonna really ever be one way to solve them. I don't know if the puzzle will ever be as fun as Portal puzzles because you're not like just left with like an open canvas in a lot of ways how you are in Portal. But I still think
Yeah.
this could be pretty cool to kind of play through.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so that's Cube 2. We did talk to the developers. They said Cube 1 was actually like a student like game that like they created as students, and then which was like I guess very bare bones, and they kind of like tacked on a story at the beginning, or sorry, after they were done, they did like a director's cut and tacked on a story, like a prequel story. But they said you can pretty much just play through Cube 2, and like. So that's what I plan on doing. I don't think I'm going to go back and play Cube 1, but I think I'm going to try and play Cube 2 and see how it goes. So, so let's see. I think I said it released last month. PS4, Xbox, PC. They said they're planning on releasing it to Switch soon. No real kind of timeline given there other than soon. And that's Toxic Games are the developers. So definitely check them out. If you like Portal kind of games and you're looking for something new in that genre, which we haven't really had in quite a while, then I think this might be the game for you. Okay. Last game, baby. Last game. Q.U.B.E. closed. Yeah, and you didn't see this one, so I guess it's going to be all me.
All you, bro.
All me, baby. All right, you ready, sir?
Ready.
Oh, and congrats to Midnight Tangent Ryan for leveling up to level 21.
Oh.
Gray, Elite Gamer.
Thank you. I can drink
GG.
now in stream.
You can what? You can drink in stream.
I'm level 21 now.
All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we have come to the final game that we saw at PAX East 2018. Actually, technically not the final game we saw, but the final game that we're going to talk about from PAX East 2018. I'm really glad that I got to experience this on Sunday, the last day. You're kind of like getting to the end, where you're kind of walking around games, and you kind of like you feel like you've seen everything. And I stumbled upon this game that I just somehow passed, multiple times, and I'm so glad that I didn't pass it this time. Which was a 2D puzzle platformer called Evergate by Stone Lantern Games. And so what this was a very, I would say it was almost like I don't want to say it was an Ori-esque game. It's a puzzle platformer, where like Ori is more of just like a pure platformer. I'm trying to think of kind of like other games in this genre, and none are. I know there are plenty, and for some reason Ori is the one that's coming to mind right now, just because I think a little bit of kind of like the aesthetic. This game seemed a little bit more peaceful and relaxing, where you really are just kind of like playing through the level and trying to kind of like figure out the right way to kind of shoot these orbs, to basically you need to hit every single one of the orbs that are spread around the level in the right order, to then also make sure that your body is able to finish where the gate is, to then get through the gate and move on to the next level. It was very simple mechanic. It was like A to jump, and I think it was right trigger to kind of shoot your little like spirit laser beam that you were seeing, and then that was it. And then just kind of like as you play, the levels just get more and more complicated, and you have to figure out like the timing and the correct order to kind of like shoot the orbs in, and really quick. You can reset the level at any time. You get these like really quick retries. Every time, like if you screw it up, you can just I think it was like hold Y to restart. And oh my God, they just showed the solution to the puzzle that I didn't have time to solve while I was there. I was playing the demo and I got to this puzzle and it was like I was racking my brain trying to figure it out. I couldn't figure it out, and I felt like I was sitting on the demo for way too long, and so I finally just like gave up and got off, and they just showed the solution, and now I'm really pissed because I want to go back and finish it. But yeah, Ryan, I know you didn't get a chance to play this one because you had to leave early on Sunday. But I don't know. Any thoughts? I guess you've been watching the trailer while I've been talking. Any thoughts kind of on that at all?
No, it looks cool. The art looks good, and it seems like one of those puzzle games where you can kind of, like you said, if you can restart quickly, you can kind of iterate through a level and try out different scenarios and things like that to try to work your way through it.
Yeah.
It seems like something that would be enjoyable for somebody who likes that kind of progression of a level where you're not going to fly through a level right away the first time.
Right.
And you can try out some different ways to kind of get things done.
Yeah.
It looks like it'd be a fun kind of puzzle game.
Yep. Yeah, and they obviously they introduced new challenges like what you're seeing there with like the little kind of like the green orbs just kind of like break when you shoot them. The yellow ones actually like launch you in the opposite direction when you shoot them, and then they introduce some stuff like the little caterpillars that you saw a second ago, which are kind of like these enemies where if you hit them you die. But apparently I realized that you could kill them, and apparently in the puzzle solution that they just showed, if you kill them in a specific way, it doesn't also kill you. So yeah, so obviously it's going to be a game where they're going to be adding new challenges and making it more and more difficult as you go, but always kind of holding on to that base simplicity, and that really great and just tight kind of like controls make it just a ton of fun to play, even as the puzzles get much harder. So what I'm most excited for about this game, honestly, is that they said that it's coming 2019. And this game was already like extremely polished and looked really good already. So for them to have like that much more time to continue iterating, to continue improving, over the next year and change, is really exciting for me, because it just like, I just feel like I have so much more to look forward to now in this game, even more than what I've already played. So I think with that, that's it. Those are all the games that we saw. Not all the games that we saw, but all the games that we're going to talk about. All the most exciting games from PAX East 2018. Ryan, do you have anything else you want to kind of wrap up with, I think, before we head out?
No, I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. We hit a lot of games.
Yeah.
Like you said, we demoed a lot of other games that we didn't even get to talk about.
Right.
And it was a really fun experience.
Yeah.
Being able to go there and play all these games that some aren't that aren't even out yet, that you get kind of a first-hand experience playing with. So, I mean, it was my first year there. So if you've never been to one of those things, if you've ever been to PAX, ever been to any other video game convention, and you love video games, I would suggest trying to figure out a way to get there and do it, because it's just a completely different experience. It's something that I'm going to look forward to doing every year or every time a convention comes up, just because it's such a fun experience, not only playing the games, but we had a great time together.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we could hang out with each other at the convention, but then like doing things like playing some Magic while we were there, or going back and playing board games with each other. Like it was a really awesome, wholesome experience the whole weekend, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, this was now my 4th convention or something like that, right? And this was like super amazing. I mean, like it just keeps getting better every year. I don't know that I would do 4 days again next year. I'm hoping, to just do 3, just do Thursday through Saturday, because I think being able to get in so many games on that Thursday is like pretty freaking awesome, and it kind of negates the need for having that 4th day if you go on the Thursday instead.
Yep.
So, yeah, I had a really good time. Was there any any other like game that we missed? You want to give it like a special mention or a shout out to anything? Like I know because you played stuff that I didn't play.
No, I think there were so many indie games there that
Right.
you kind of get a taste of. Nothing that was like super standing out that I would mention specifically, but there's so much to play there, and there's so many indie games that
Right.
you can. So some of them are free, some of them are mobile, things like that, where you can kind of just get a taste for a bunch of different things and pick up a few random games here and there
Yeah.
that you maybe normally wouldn't have picked up before. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is it for our PAX East 2018 recap episode. It feels good to be back, guys. I am now going to figure out how to edit all this stuff together and, take it from there, I guess. Hopefully upload this onto YouTube. I'll try and break it down into chunks based on like kind of each game that we talked about. But I just want to thank everyone for hanging out and chatting and like asking us questions on some of the games that we talked about. Thank you, Lonely Hugs, for the host that you dropped. And yeah, I look forward to E3 June 12th, I think 12th through the 14th this year. Super excited for that. Even bigger, even better. All the like new games that like aren't even out yet, that are literally just released in some cases. Super excited for that. So definitely, if you like the content, hang out, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on. We're probably there using the handle @GameTangent. And stay tuned for more. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching this special episode of Game Tangent. Thank you, Mr. Midnight Tangent Ryan. You can check him out on what you want to give a plug to your I think your Twitter and stuff. Anything special you want to shout out?
Yeah, Twitter is just Ryan C. Michaels.
Ryan C. Michaels, the Maker Miles on Twitter. You can check him out on there. Again, check me out on all your favorite social medias using the handle @GameTangent. My name is Chris Enriquez, aka Hyper Neon, and we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.